I don't think it'll break everything. Will it break everything?
What if he logs out?
Yeah.
I'll kill him.
Probably.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. You can log out and that's fine.
And we're talking real life here, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Not his character.
Of course.
Let's see, what was the address? Tactical strike or what?
Yeah. It's okay, we can totally face this lava plane demon trade giant thing going on here without him. No big deal.
We were politely invited for dinner.
Yeah. I hope I do better legitimately when I roll for which fork I choose.
Did we rest, by the way?
Not a long rest, no.
Yeah.
Cruel and evil.
Okay, so that means I'm 0 out of 2 wild shapes and 16 HP.
We did have a short rest, so you should have your wild shapes back.
I'm at 19 HP.
It's fine.
Wait, I guess in that case,
You can spend
if we
hit
had
dice on your
a
short rest.
I'm gonna spend.
Oh yeah. Alright. I'm gonna do
Or
a few
you
of
could,
those.
you know, just die.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
I prefer not to.
I've lost
No,
a die
no,
somewhere.
I want to hide behind the huge dragonborn.
I will breathe lightning on you.
That's why I said hide behind. I hope it doesn't come. Oh, does it come out that end? I didn't know that. That you can
You know,
lightning.
sometimes it's a little gassy.
And do we still have the debuff that reduces our maximum health? Are we still
Nope,
cursed?
that's gone a long time ago.
Perfect.
Okay.
Bam, 39 hit points. Way better.
You can add 1d8 because I was singing the song of rest while we were resting.
Alright.
Oh, nice. In that case, I'm
That's a
at
5.
full health.
44. Oh man, I'm gonna be covered in markers.
It's all the WoW players, Emiliano, taking up all the internet bandwidth, or the Discord bandwidth or something.
He's shutting down all his WoW servers, like.
Yeah, that's it.
Video conferencing sucks. Should move to text-based adventures. Like, do you remember those? Like 30 years ago.
I
Oh
never
God.
played them, but I know they're called like MUTs, I think is the
That's
short for it.
that's pretty much an MMO text-based. I played that a little too much. Let's say it like that. I did
Okay.
spend like maybe like an hour or 2 or 10 a day.
Well, I mean, you didn't get anywhere. Those text-based ones were like, I walk to the door. I try and open the door.
There were different ones. There were 2 different ones that I kind of liked. One was like a RPG heavy with no numbers anything, which was pretty fun. And also PvP was brutal. You lost like a third of all your XP when you died. It was fun.
Okay.
I killed other players. I never died. It was fun. And the other was just like mindless number grinding, killing monsters over and over, getting another plus on somewhere, so you could be just a little bit better, like, you know, most MMOs.
Yeah. So we're supposed to be at level 8, right?
9.
Level
Or
9.
9, if you want.
Ah, really?
You have time to level
Man,
up.
I suck.
We've been level 9 for like 2 sessions, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the game.
Also, remember that you have 2 attacks, not one.
I got that. I've remembered that one at least most of the time. But spells, that's not something I remember.
Spells? Paladin spells?
Yeah, right? Those things are things? Oh man, I get cool shit at 9th level that I wasn't prepared for. I get 3rd level spells. And my proficiency bonus goes up.
You're
So,
like
how was everyone's week?
Great. As I said,
Better
been
than our
playing well.
prediction.
yeah, we are.
Or bad, actually.
Mine was like good. We are Guy, the little one, is has switched to another daycare. So there are some how do you call it? Days.
Challenges?
No, it is our days in which he gets used to the new environment. So I have to be with him.
Yeah.
So today I was with him at the daycare for 3 hours. So that was a challenge. And his
No doubt.
yeah, and he's like a firecracker. He runs all the time. So it's like, I want to eat, I want to play, and then some dumb kid. Well, oh my god, I'm recording this. flipped open the sandbox, and guy simply dived in. Like, he's not allowed to do that in the parks, or because we hate sand. So, but that was like, it was approved, right, by the management of the daycare. So he simply dived in and started, this. And tomorrow I should leave him there and then be on call if he kind of, cries or something like that. So it's a challenge.
That sounds like so much fun.
Oh my god!
And did he bring like half the sandbox home
Yeah,
with him? And
yeah.
his underwear and everywhere.
Of course,
Yeah.
and of course he wanted all the way back to be on my shoulders. So when he got home, we both took a shower, and he woke up. We went to the park again, and we went back again, and again we both took a shower. So it's kind of so I'm very clean on one hand, yet I'm very dirty on the other. So. And I'm like tired as if I went to the beach. So
Yeah.
This guy is amazing.
And I'm lucky I don't have such responsibilities.
No, and then I see WoW Classic for €14 a month, and I'm like, ugh.
How dare you want to go to the beach?
You should totally play. Have you ever played WoW?
Yeah, sure. When it was
Oh,
classic, like, I don't know, it was 10 years ago.
When it was classic.
No, I can tell you it was exactly 10 years ago, because when Omer was 3 years old, he was how do you call it when you get someone like to fish for you or hunt for you or something? There's a name for it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright, so
Sound works.
okay, I'm gonna look for my camera. I'm pretty sure it's on this desk. I switched to my desktop and I changed the call to Western Europe and it worked. I couldn't
I'm
change it
in
to Russia
Western
for some
Europe.
reason.
I'm in
It's
Western Europe.
all of us. Yeah, and I did notice you switched over, or someone switched over, because it breaks up for like half a second when someone does that, and it switches everybody over.
It's me.
So if you want to be really trolly, just keep switching back and forth.
Yeah, alright,
Like,
sounds
oh
good.
wait, sorry, how much did you say that? And I get
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Oh, it seems to be switching back from Russia to Western Europe. I don't know what's happening. I guess I didn't get hit.
Sorry, you broke up when you said that you rolled a 20. I mean, I don't know what you rolled.
I'm sorry, I'm going into a tunnel. I can't hear you. I mean, oh shit.
I'm in the elevator.
Yes.
So can you hear us, Emiliano? Because we can't see you.
Yeah, I'm just looking for my camera, so
Okay,
we can start if you guys want.
Sure, yeah, we can if you want.
I'm ready.
Oh, cool.
Unless you guys want to really see my beautiful face.
We
I
do.
mean, it's nothing without that beautiful mug.
That's right. Guess we gotta cancel.
Yeah, good game, guys. See ya.
Your problems are so dire that my camera just reinstalled its own driver. I don't know if there's a connection.
Okay.
So, our last episode ended in an interesting kind of situation. You were basically looking for a way out from Bryn Shander. You wanted to go south to a place called Helm's Hold to free a prisoner of the Frost Giants, the son of Artus Simbor, who is about to reveal the location of the Ring of Winter to his captors. And Helm's Hold is probably a place where secrets can be pried from certain people. So you wanted to head there and fix the situation. That, or at least that was the request of your friend Harshnag. Now, during your time in Bryn Shander, as you try to find a boat or some way of transportation south, some of you got entangled with a merchant named Vandar. He's an elf, a golden elf, a sparkly one, and he had some interesting cargo, a coffin with a demon inside. And you guys have decided, of course, to steal the coffin and pop the lid up and fight the devil that the demon that was basically caught inside. Now, as this was happening, you got a timely visit from Kevan, now deformed and transformed due to his pleasant stay at the Beholder's prison back there in Waterdeep. And apparently your Illithid friend Vostderava was responsible for some experiments done on Kevan. And as you fought the wizard, the Zentarim wizard, he transformed into this tentacled creature. You had to defeat it, and only after you defeated both Kevan and the devil, Vandar came to you and said, "Oh my god, this is amazing. You have been so heroic. I'm gonna give you a free ride to wherever you want." And of course you said, "We want to go to Helm's Hold." So he said, "Sure." And he took you through this interdimensional space. You saw stars, you saw ocean, you saw the beach, you saw winter, summer, and then you stopped at a volcanic mountain on top of which there is this massive citadel with lava pouring from some of its lower floor windows and doors. And he said, "Listen, I just have to make this small delivery." And through the gates of the citadel emerged a gigantic fire giant, and Vandar handed him something glowing and pulsing inside a chest. The giant took it, looked inside the caravan and saw all of you, and then said, "Well, you have to stay for dinner." And basically this is where we stopped last time. Anyone wants to add something?
I think that was pretty accurate.
Okay. So, if you Oh, that was very loud. If you'll take a look at your roll 20, I'm gonna sling you to. I think it's this one. Let me know when you see the map.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Well, part of the map.
Part of the map.
Very small part of the map.
Yes.
More or less only the compass and like around there.
Exactly. So you do get to see those two massive doors through which this giant emerged. Now, when I'm saying a giant, basically what you saw is an iron tower with legs. Okay, so he is basically encased in a black iron wrought shell. This is his armor, but it basically covers every part of his body, and he has this red beard. You can see its flaming edges kind of pop up through cracks in the armor, and his eyes are smoldering coals of fire. And on his head there is this massive crown made of iron that is so hot it's nearly melting, but it simply stays there on his head. And the most interesting part of this giant is actually his maul. He is holding a maul, but the top of the maul is hollow, and it is basically a cage in which trapped a dwarf. So the dwarf, basically the giant walks with this maul on his shoulder, and with every step the dwarf kind of bangs and is thrown on at the walls of this maul, which is basically a cage, a metallic cage. Vandar looks at you and coughs and says, my champions, please, I want to introduce you to the magnificent, his lordly might of volcanic ash and fury, Duke Zalto. And he bows deeply to the Duke.
I bow as well.
I shake a bit and then bow.
I bow back.
I still remember my last encounter with giants. It did not go well.
Does the dwarf look familiar to any of us?
You can try and make a perception check to see if you identify him.
Okay, you got a 15 plus.
How big are giants' hands?
I got a 20.
So I'll tell you. This guy is basically wow. So this guy is considered huge. I don't have any like feet or something like that in his
There's
description.
something in the monster's manual about the different height of giants.
Yeah.
What did we say his name was?
Duke Zalto.
All right.
All right.
And what last time you mentioned what it was that he the elf guy delivered. I can't remember what it was right now. It was something we didn't want him to have.
Yeah, some like fire heart
So
or
he,
something.
yeah.
Like
So
that.
Vandar told him, "This is what you basically wanted me to deliver: the heart to the Vanidad, whatever a Vanidad means."
The thing for the death machine or something.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, you mentioned something about a death machine or something like that. Yeah.
So,
I have it here. A fire giant is 18 feet tall.
18 feet tall.
That's
Amazing.
bloody huge.
Generally, this could be like the king, so he could be taller.
That's like 4 people standing on each other's shoulders.
And on top of it, like 2 tons of metal that is his armor, basically.
So hot it's almost melting.
But
I
is
was
he
thinking
wearing,
about offering.
Is he wearing a trench coat so it could be just 4 people standing on top of him?
Hey, you can't see through that armor.
I was thinking about offering him a handshake, but considering he's like,
He'd crush you, he'll just
He-
pick you
yeah,
up and
he's-
shake you.
yeah,
Be
it
back
probably
on the
won't
ground.
make sense to try and shake his hand. So.
So when he first Quarian, when you Emiliano, I can hear you, but very very low. So if you're trying to say something,
No, I didn't say anything.
no, not you, Quarian. I'm talking to Emiliano. I'm just hearing you super low.
Okay.
Oh.
Wrong mic.
Okay.
Are we back on board?
Quarian, when you look into the cage that is basically the head of the giant's maw, you don't recognize the dwarf. He's badly bruised, but you notice that he's wearing the standard uniform of the Zentarim.
Okay. Interesting. Does he? Okay.
The giant looks at all of you, and you all notice that his gaze lingers on Forgar. And then he turns around and says, "Please follow me."
Anybody else notice that he really looked at me a lot?
Did the merchant give him the object?
Yes.
Part of...
Yeah.
Oh.
He's simply walking with it, like it's very small, actually.
I'm guessing Enderist is probably looking at it intently, but I turn around and tell everybody keep an eye on that heart.
So Enderist nods.
I tell everybody, the whole group, I whisper it.
So you're following the giant, and he is pushing the two doors, the two massive doors. Now, these doors are something along the lines of 160 feet tall, like this, like the doors of the shuttle bay that used to send NASA's shuttles to space. Like it's like Colossus. And once the doors are open, you learn why this is so big. So I'll tell you in a minute. You are
It's because of the death machine, right?
exactly. So,
The giant.
yeah.
Yes.
So you can see a massive hall supported with its dome, basically supported by basalt pillars. And as I said, these are 160 feet tall ceiling, and you can see that all around this hall there are iron gantries, I think it's called, like grates when you can where you can walk on them, and they are bolted to the wall, something like 50 feet above the floor. You can see an iron staircase. I'll actually let you see it. So as I'm describing it. Yes. And the illumination, basically the light that is pouring over this massive chamber, comes from braziers and light that is emanating from opening in the walls. You are like certain that there are many forges scattered around this massive room, with one that is unlit. This is the one. I'm pinging it. Wait. Oops. This one. This mighty thing is a forge, but it is dormant, like unlit. But all around the walls are openings and tiny windows and ventilation shafts that are burning with heat. Suspended and steadied by huge chains near the middle of the room, you can see a helmed head and the upper torso of something. So this is probably the machine or the thing that Vandar referred to. This is a colossal mechanic or semi-mechanic construct. And as you look up and up and up and up, you can see that on the second level of this room, you can see its sword basically hanging on top two cranes. And the sword is almost as big as the size of between the two pillars. Between this pillar and this pillar, it's like monumental. So right now it is nothing more than a dangling like shell of a machine. It's not alive or operate, like it's not operating in any way. It's still dangling there, and you can see that it's missing its legs and one of its arms. So it's still under construction, and in its face there is only one eye, but this is basically a giant ruby, and like a 250 pounds worth of a ruby. So this is massive, massive, massive. The other eye is empty, and if you look at this way, you can see two doors made of adamantite. So it's like a very, very precious and hard material, and they are covered with runes. For those of you who can read or write giant, so these are definitely runes etched by giants, probably protecting something.
Okay.
I can read giant.
Me too.
Duke Zalto kind of points at this thing and looks at you and says, "Well, what do you think of my creation?" And as he
It's
said,
gigantic.
It's terrifying.
"It is my destiny."
Oh? Your destiny to do what?
"Wage war against the dragon kind, of course."
That's why you're eyeing me up all funny.
He smiles.
Well, our friend is not a dragon. He's only,
Hey!
cursed with dragon blood.
Cursed. It's the last time I ever saved you.
He
Play along.
Not getting it at all, totally oblivious to what you're trying to do. I am proud of my dragon heritage.
And that's how the party died.
Had nothing to do with forks.
No.
I ask the Duke, what is it called, this creation?
This is called the Vanidad.
The what?
The Vanidad. It's an ancient name. Means the end of dragonkind. And it is going to be tested soon with this. And then he pockets this glowing red thing.
How big is the glowing red thing?
So it's not that big. So for you, it's the size of this small chest. So the giant is basically holding it like between two thumbs.
And is it in a chest? Or is it like you have them hard open?
No, he didn't open it. It's like a small chest. So something in it.
And did the chest appear to have a lock on it?
No, nothing. It's like a simple chest.
Okay.
I think it would be really funny if a dwarf would be able to pickpocket a giant.
He says,
I plan on pickpocketing the giant. I'm not good at it, but I plan on doing it. Oh, yes. Well, you mentioned a feast. Let's go.
He says, come, come, I will give you the full tour. And as he says that, he turns toward this part of the room. And when he does, Peleus, you spot two hellhounds running right at you, like jaws open, fire breathing, and they are simply like crazy, rushing right towards you.
Do we all see them?
So they came right behind this pillar, so you didn't notice them before.
I'm actually assuming they are friendly. Like they're probably his pets or something. Just like, you know how dogs are when you get
You
home.
bend down all excited.
Yeah.
You know how Rottweilers are when you get home to your neighbor's home and it's not your home?
I like brace for like a dog jumping me up or something and looking
Okay.
at my face. That's what I brace for.
Good. So they both jump, and I need you to make a strength check. It can be an athletics check if you want.
I don't think that makes a difference for me. 19.
Amazing.
Nice.
So you actually manage to brace yourself and kind of bear hug them as they bang into you. So yes, you do realize that they are friendly, and as they rush to you and you meet them head on, you kind of get burned by their breath, but not like severely. And then you notice two chains that are running from their collars into the hands of a young fire giant. So she's half the size of her father. You see the family resemblance immediately, and actually Duke Zalto turns around and greets his daughter. He basically shouts, "Cinderhild, come see my guests! Oh, I see you've already met my beloved pets." As you, Peleus, kind of hugged the massive dogs and slap them on their nose and do whatever
No,
you do.
I'm petting them and feeding them like whatever like meat or something I have on me.
Okay, so Cinderhild looks kind of disappointed, as if she tried to make an appearance and maybe eat one of her father guests. Like, so you robbed her from entertainment, but she kind of looks at you, what's this? Like,
She gonna hit on him too?
no, she goes to her father and she kind of pulls on his clothes and says, "Well, who's this? And why isn't it afraid from my dogs?
And why is
I don't like him."
Oh, apart from this, do fire giants and ice giants, are they known to hate each other, like each other?
Bitter enemies.
Bitter enemies. Bitter enemies, guys.
Let's not
They
mention
probably
her.
don't want everlasting winter. I'm guessing they never will want that sort of thing. I go up to Quarry as this is happening, and I'm like, I think they wouldn't be into everlasting winter. What do you think?
Probably not.
I'm
But,
like brushing a invisible goatee.
Dad, you see what happens when you feed them all the time? That they don't want to eat anything, and now he's playing with them. Look. I want hungry dogs. I want hungry dogs. Hungry dogs. And he says, come, Cinderhild. These are guests. We are not eating them. And then he says, not today. Please come after me. And he takes you to this part of the room, leaving his nasty daughter behind. And this is an elevator, a mechanical elevator. And what you see here is this round metal plate You all climb on top of it. And surrounding it are dwarfs chained to poles. And as you mount that iron plate, Duke Zalto snaps his fingers, and two ogres come from the hallway that is still hidden and whip the dwarfs. And you can see that their whips are made of leather with spikes all over them. So with each whiplash, blood spatters on the wall, and the dwarf curse and starts to swing that mechanical wheel that is chained to the elevator. So you can assume how much strength is needed to lift up your group with Duke Zalto on the elevator. So it starts.
I don't know if we really make a difference.
And the Duke looks bored and looks at all of you and says, "Well, I'm sorry, it will take forever. You know, dwarfs."
Yeah, dwarves. And I ask him, so have you heard the news about these ice giants floating around in their iceberg ships, causing trouble?
Oh,
Near
yes.
Neverwinter.
Yes, I've heard, of course.
Waterdeep.
Storvald is steering his icy waters again. Why? What do you know about it?
Well, yeah, my band of adventurers, we've been all over the North Coast, and we think they might be up to something big. And I mean, we don't like them, right, guys?
Right.
No, yeah.
Definitely not, exactly. And we just like to mess with them. We like to get and stop their plans. And
like that time we sank one of the ships.
exactly, we sank an entire one of their ships.
Alone.
He says,
Totally planned.
he says,
Totally.
"Let me guess. Storvald wants to encase the world in ice using the mighty ring of winter."
Wow, yeah.
That's about right, yeah.
He smiles.
What do you know of this plan?
He smiles. "Well, Jarl, Storvald, and I go a long, way long back. He's been dreaming about this ring since we were kids. It's...
You guys grew up together?
Oh, well, you can say that we had a lot of meetings at the court. But, you know, fire and ice.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I actually saw Storvald. And he kind of looks with an ice dragon, you know. And he is about to say something really awkward when you hear a voice behind you as the elevator goes up. "Oh dear, I hope you're not boring your guests with your sensational stories about Jarl Storvald." And he kind of stiffen up and says, "Oh, of course not, my dear wife. Please, my champions, meet my dear wife, the Duchess Brimskarda." And as the elevator raises to basically the second floor of this compound, I will take you to it in a minute. Can you see nothing?
It's currently
correct.
black.
Good. So you are, basically looking at this.
Cool.
Nice.
So
And if you
Ooh.
oops. shift
Yeah,
and then
over here.
like ping, then you'll move all our cameras there.
Okay.
But only if you hold down shift as you're pinging it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Moved me.
yeah. So this is the elevator, and Brimskarda, the Duchess, is basically standing here with a draw woman standing very next to her. The draw woman is bald, wearing a spidery cloak with the neck part going up and up to cover her ears. She is surrounded by 6 draw warriors, and she has a handmaid, which Rukvi, you identify as your heart basically leaps to your throat. And
Oh, like a handmaid of
like a servant,
person.
like a
servant.
yeah, female
okay.
servant.
Okay.
And Brimskarda is basically, you believe, is giving the same tour that you are given to the draw woman, to the draw party, and they are surveying that chain of carts that are basically full of ore. And on this floor you can see many dwarves working under the guard of more ogres, and they are basically pouring the content of the carts into this table over here, crashing and sorting all of the ore, and then bringing it back to the cart. And this whole thing, this whole chain of carts is constantly moving, like and you believe more dwarfs are probably pulling that chain again. And Duke Zalto is looking at you to kind of looking for an expression of appreciation of this magnificent, engineering force that he has here.
There's definitely a look of appreciation in Rupi's face as he looks on. Not to the ore though,
It does look incredible.
but to the handmaid.
To the hand. So Rukvi, do you know who she is? Who am I referring to? Or
Possibly, is it my background related?
yes. So she's looking at you, and immediately she blushes and looks down. And I need you to know if you are hiding the fact that you recognize her, or you don't.
Even if I wanted to, I probably couldn't, because Rugby probably. I mean, he will try. He'll probably try.
So make a deception check.
Deception.
Yeah.
I mean, natural 20, so I guess it worked.
This is amazing.
Sorry, you needed a 25.
Oh well.
The Duke is approaching his Duchess. He kisses her on the lip. He is turning to you, and she kind of slaps his backside as she does, and he turns to her like, and then she says, "Not now, dear, not now." And you are basically, as a group now, 6 draw warriors, the maid, the bold draw woman, Brimskarda, and the Duke, on a tour to survey this magnificent place. And the Duke takes you basically to this location, raises his hands and says, "Behold, Ironslag," and his voice kind of booms around this magnificent chamber. And he leans on the gantry and says, "Well, anything like something that Storvald is doing right now?"
Anything? Well, no, not at all. This is
This is
he
far
comes
more
nothing close to this.
This is a lot more impressive compared to what we have seen, at least.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm channeling my inner Andrist. As I say, would you consider, once the death machine is fully operational and you would like to test it, testing it on something that might be vulnerable to, you know, fiery heat, like ice giants and their plans to freeze everything?
So he looks at you and says, Ice Giant, test the Vanidod on Storvald's ships? This is... I need a challenge. I need a real challenge. Sinking a ship or two isn't something that Vanidod should be tested upon. This is like basic QA. I'm talking about a real challenge.
What did you have in mind?
Oh, this is something we should talk about during dinner. Let me show you the foundry. And he continues to babble, basically, as he walks you... let me see where he takes you.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
when we were in Bryn Shander, we met some dwarves from the nation of Delzoon. Do any of the dwarves that we see around have the same markings as they did?
No, but when you saw the dwarfs there, they did tell you that a village, or basically a settlement of dwarfs in Dead Snow, was attacked. You basically...
Yeah, they told us that the dwarves of that village were forced into digging in some sort of digging site.
So you believe at least all the dwarfs that you've seen so far are shield dwarfs, and you have a good reason to believe that this is the same clan. So basically most of them are in the citadel working for the giants, and some of them are taking outside to dig probably parts of this machine.
The drow woman and her retinue is coming along with us as we go.
Yes. So as Duke Zalto basically is taking you, he is taking you to this lower floor again, and up this staircase through the gantries, and he's aiming to take you to this place, which I will reveal. But as he does that and kind of talks and describes the many machines that you see and all the efforts that are needed to that he went into the trouble of building this and obtaining the workforce and training the ogres to do his bidding, etc. So you have time to talk if you want.
I would ask perhaps, so after the death machine destroys all the dragons, what do you have in mind? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's an amazing question. He looks at you and says, he pulls out the small chest and says, "You know what this is?"
Do I know what it is?
Yeah, it's the hard thing.
So as he pulls it, Vandar says, and Brimskarda says, "Oh, of course, my husband, we forgot to pay the golden elf, please." And she kind of does this, and a goblin pops out of nowhere. "Hey, this way, sir." And he takes the elf and his retinue away. The Duke says, he gives you the chest, and he says, "Open it."
I open it.
So you open the chest, and inside you can see an iron flask that is about to melt. It's so hot that is about to melt, and as you open it, like it's like opening a furnace.
I look at it as long as I can and then close it.
He takes it away from you and says, "Do you know who is trapped inside?" He looks at the drawer, and she smiles, and she walks toward you, and kind of as she walks toward the giant, she kind of, you know, with a long fingernail, she kind of scratches your if you have an armor, then your armor. If you don't, it's basically your chest. And she says, "Oh, my forces, they trapped Magera, the Dawn Titan, inside. We stole it from the dwarves, you see."
This Dawn Titan? What do I know about them?
Make a history check.
Not 20 again.
Ooh, so you're sharp today.
So at 19.
Oh, 19. Still not 20, technically.
So you're sharp today. So you remember that a long time ago there was this magnificent dwarven kingdom named Guntelgrim, and the dwarves that lived there basically kept their kingdom thriving by trapping a titan, the primordial titan called Mygera. Is basically the embodiment of fire, and they trapped them into their forge, therefore getting the ability to create many magical items, many items of war, constructs, armor, you know, axes, etc. So they kept their kingdom a mighty one because of that. And they had a war with Drow elves. Their kingdom crumbled, but the forge was a thing that remained. And this woman, this Drow woman, basically tells you, well, it was a mighty operation, but eventually we managed to sneak in and steal the thing that operated their forge right under their hairy noses. And she bows to Duke Zalto and says, "And I fully expect our cooperation from now on." And Duke Zalto says, "Of course, my army, once the Vanidad is operated, will be yours to command in one campaign, as promised."
Brookby swallows, and a bead of sweat goes down as he's like, "Pretend to be evil, act like you're evil," and he asks, "So, what are you interested in going on a campaign for?"
So while you are talking, you basically reached to this area. So it's a long corridor ending with another basically porch that looks into a mighty pool of lava, and all of the ore that is being prepared by the dwarf is poured into it. And as soon as all this entourage arrive to the porch, Brimskarda starts to laugh. Look at this! Look at what he's doing! And Duke Zalto looks and says, "Oh, Zalt Amber, you're a naughty one! Look what he's doing!" And as you all look, you can see a young fire giant, this time a male, obviously the son of the Duchess and the Duke, and he is dangling a dwarf like above the lava, and saying, "Come on, tell me you want me to save you, tell me you
Sir Duke, I think this might be a safety hazard. This is
Oh,
Osha.
he said, no, dwarfs burn magnificently. Look, look, look what he's doing. He's taking him by the toes.
But that's a significant percent of output of your ore that you're about to just burn.
Oh, they reproduce like rabbits.
Rugby, his hand clenches next to his hammer.
The
Quarian
dwarf,
touches
yeah.
Quarian is touching Rookby in its own cooldown. Very quietly.
It's actually looking like it's running pretty efficiently.
Yes, it's education at its best. Look, you have to understand that you need to give your children a way to learn the ways of the world, and dangling a dwarf over a fire is a good lesson. Like, you need to hold him in a specific angle to crisp his beard, but you must not break his leg. Like, because if you break his leg, then it's too painful. Like, it's not gonna work. So lower.
He's not a good worker anymore.
Lower. And then this son of his basically drops the dwarf a little lower, and at this point the dwarf spots you all, and he
Do
says,
we recognize him?
"No, you don't." But as he looks,
Already an action, actually.
okay, so as he looks at you with burn marks all over his face, he is starting to shout, a thing that he didn't do before. And he's doing it like with enough force of voice so you'll hear. So he's saying basically, yes, just throw me in. What's the matter? There's just 250 of us down there. It won't matter if you throw me in. They won't break their chains. Just 250 of us down there.
I feel like he's trying to tell us something.
So there's 2 fire giants next to us. There's one down there. There's a drow.
So, by the way, if
look, he's
if
shouting
he
now.
drops him, I will shapeshift and into like a flying something.
I get behind the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a giant. What am I thinking? But I get behind him as if I'm about to push him over that balcony.
Down into lava, which would probably be like, oh, a nice path.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to climb up or something.
True. While all this is going on, I'm probably next to Quarian, like whispering to him in Silvet. So when we get to this banquet, I have a plan. What if we distract him with a tale of how we slew the ice dragon? The white dragon, when you telling the story, me reenacting and jumping around, and jumping onto the prince, and hopefully manage to slip the box out of his pocket and bring it back to you.
Again? Oh, you want to take the heart out of his pocket?
Yes, we don't want him to have this box, but I wanted to take what was inside the box, but that seems too dangerous. So I need to take the entire box. And they might search me if they realize it's gone, but if I gave it to you, you could maybe hide it.
I could try. Don't know where though.
Or maybe Andres knows something. He's good at doing magic-y things.
Andorist is gone. You kind of look around for him, and
He went with.
Yeah, oh damn it, he's fighting drows again. Instead of to kill the drows, I knew it. Or killing other innocent persons, with him. Yeah. But I think we can't fight all these giants.
No, we really can't.
Yes. And again, whispering in Elvis about this, and pretty much just ignoring the loud wolf.
I don't think we can even try. We should even try to save this guy. There's absolutely there's no chance.
What guy? Oh, that? No, he's gone. We should probably try to free the other dwarves. They could be a good distraction if we need to make a quick escape.
That could be worthwhile.
Yeah, break some chain or whatever he's talking about.
Wait a minute. You know what? This might work. Probably won't, but it might work. We've been talking. We've been talking with this guy for at least a minute. All right.
Sure.
I want to charm him. I'm a
Okay.
diplomat.
Ooh.
So he needs to make a charisma, wisdom insight check,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to do a persuasion check.
He's
This is like a
nervous.
charm. Like, what is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's a charm. Actually, charm. And I got
It's a charm monster.
it's charm. He'll be. The definition says that I spend 1 minute talking to someone who can understand what I say.
Mm-hmm.
I make a charisma persuasion check and testify the creature's wisdom insight check. If me or my companions are fighting, it's not the case. If your check succeeds, the target is charmed by you as long as it remains within 60 feet of you and for 1 minute thereafter.
If it
That's it.
fails, what happens?
Yeah. And
It
maybe
fails, nothing.
save that for later since it only lasts a minute.
I'm sorry?
If it only lasts a minute, maybe save it for later.
No, it's, it actually doesn't even say what happens afterwards.
So the charmed condition basically said that he can't attack you or use any harmful abilities against you, and you have advantage on ability checks to interact socially with this creature.
Okay.
Whoa. Camera.
Yeah, you think your camera broke, Avi.
You went straight to like. You're in the
Everything
lava.
turned red.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
Is it okay now?
No.
Probably the cable.
He was there for me.
You probably don't want to charm him now because right now he's doing exactly what he would be doing if he was charmed, which is not attacking us and talking to us like we're his buddies.
I was just thinking about charming him so I can maybe try to persuade him to not throw this poor guy into the fire.
Just let them. I will catch him if that happens.
No,
Hopefully.
if you catch them, then it would show that we're really bad guests. We don't want to show that we're really bad guests already.
No, I would like to tell him something to make it alright. I would like tell him, oh, I didn't want your workforce getting diminished or something like that.
Yeah, we want to see this golem built as fast as possible because it's so glorious. Whatever.
It's just motivation, you know? Every once in a while, it's just motivation for the other dwarfs.
Yeah.
Once we figure out if we figure out a plan to like break the dwarves and we need to push him in a certain specific way, then I think it would be a good idea to use charm.
Okay.
So, not doing anything?
No, I just. No, nothing.
I think Rupi glances at tries to catch glances at the handmaid to see how she's reacting to all of this.
So she's horrified, but every time she kind of lifts her eyes, she tries to look at you, and then you can see that the draw woman does the same. So you get a sense that the draw doesn't really trust her maid, but you don't think she noticed that there's something between the two of you. She just like edgy around her maid. And
How many drow?
6 warriors, 1 woman that you suspect is either a priest or a wizard. Judging by her outlook and simply the reason that she's carrying no weapons. You do know that the Draw Society is mostly controlled by females, so if she's in charge, she is probably powerful.
Okay.
So after a couple of minutes of entertainment, Duke Zalto says, kind of waves to his son and says, smiling to him, come on, Zaltember, we have to go to dinner. Throw him, get this over with, stop playing with your food, and let's go. The child simply throws the dwarf like carelessly, like a toy. He doesn't even care if he drops into the flames or not. So the dwarf is basically tossing in midair. Anyone wants to do something?
I want to polymorph him.
Oh.
The dwarf.
The dwarf. I'm gonna polymorph the dwarf into a bug or something that can fly.
Okay, good. So you cast a spell and try to polymorph the dwarf into like a cockroach or something like that.
Yeah.
So does he need to do a saving throw, I'm assuming?
If he wants to resist it, then yeah. I'll tell you which one. That would be Wisdom saving throw, DC
Okay,
16.
so he failed with a 1. So
Okay.
he turns into this cockroach and he floats to the ground and then gets squished by a goblin servant looking up to you and saying,
Okay, so he
And then turns into a dwarf again.
turns back into a dwarf then.
so the servant simply falls on his butt. And the dwarf's he gets up and then simply he rushes and vanishes down one of the corridors, and all of the people around you burst into laughter, and the giant actually comes to swat you like like a pal, and then his wife kind of stop him in mid-air and says, "Don't break our guests, dear."
I
I
smile
find this hilarious.
I smile very gleefully at him. As if I made something like fun.
And at this point, a goblin servant, the same one that fell on his butt, kind of goes up the stairs and bows before the Duke and says, "You want me to prepare them for dinner, sir?" And the Duke smiles and says, "Yes." And then the goblin looks at all of you. "Please, after me."
I'm sorry, them?
All of you.
Prepare us?
Yes.
You mean...
Oh, no, we're not going to cook you, you imbeciles. Please follow me to your quarters.
I'm sorry, I am uncultured.
Lead on, good friend. What's on the menu today?
Oh, there will be many stuffed animals. How do you like yak?
With salt.
Well, there will be raw meat and root beer, and everything, of course, will be cooked to a smoldering chalk. So, don't expect anything to be tasty here.
Lovely.
So the goblin basically takes you downstairs. So let's go downstairs. Bloop. And through this hall, which I will reveal before you. This one. And through this door. When the goblin passes through this corridor, he tells you the Dutchel quarters out of line for you. Don't say I didn't warn you. And then he opens this door and shows you to a study with several chairs, a table, and a statue, and obviously all this is like supersized. So the table is basically taller than you, and the books are like twice your size, etc. So kind of all 5 of you can fit into one couch. So the goblin says you can rest and clean up before the dinner.
All right.
Are there any interesting books?
There are actually many.
And
Did I see it?
how long before dinner?
Oh, I think it will be something like an hour or 2.
All right.
On our way here, did I see where the drow and her retinue went?
Yes, they went. Well, let's look at. You believe. Well, I will reveal that area too. So you believe they went down this corridor.
Which one?
This one.
It just moved us there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, and we're which one?
Just
So-
above it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
right.
Did we see
Okay.
Vandar on our way here?
No.
Okay, interesting.
As soon as the goblin leave, I tell the others of my plan. To have Quarren distract them with the tale of how we all slew the white dragon, and with me jumping on top of the dragon, which I'll hope will jump on top of the giant, as if I'm reenacting the fight, and then try to steal the box.
Question is, where do we
I
put it
cast
now?
guidance on Galen.
As I'm telling the plan, so I have a plus. For the next minute, I have a plus.
Go 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 go!
Before to tell the plan. So
Hey,
it,
gotta
instead of-
make sure we understand.
Yeah. So instead of just saying, with the this and with the that and with the jumpy and with the flying and with the like that, I actually tell the plan.
Rookby's like, yes, okay, yes, the heart, the saving the world. There's a woman with a drow that I've known a long time ago, and she is good. Do not kill her, whatever happens. It's
So as you say,
no, not the drow woman.
as you say, whatever happens, there is a knock on your door.
I opened the door.
Sure.
So the draw woman with her maid, they are both standing there, and she said,
Hello.
"May I come in, please?"
Of course.
Oh, you are so polite. Unexpected from a dragonborn. You are very well educated, I can see.
I have seen a thing or two before.
And she stands in the middle of the room, kind of looking at all of you. And she's saying, "Well, you do know, my family, we deal with wines. And I have developed this acute sense of scent. I can smell power. And I can smell it right here with me in this room."
Okay. Thank you. I like to
look
think I'm
around at
powerful.
everybody else. Like, who here has power?
Well, Anders isn't here, so
Hey!
I definitely thank you. I'm glad that you think you can feel that we are powerful.
we work
I'm
out.
blatantly missing any hints that you guys throw at me of like, come on.
Well, actually, you seem to be hoarding some power yourself, madam.
Just a fraction of it. I admit stealing my Gera, the Dawn Titan, was a formidable task. But dwarves are stupid and dark elves are smarter, so.
Definitely.
We have nothing in comparison to the soul of a titan, ma'am.
Well, you see, I had an agreement with Duke Zalto. I will steal Magera for him, and when this thing of his is completed, he will give me command of an army worth of 1,000 fire giants.
Ooh.
And I
It's gonna be
plan to raid the Northlands and take control of Gantelgrim and the land above it. You know, Neverwinter, Waterdeep, all of that thing you humans call the Sword Coast. I don't suppose you have any objection to that grand plan of mine.
Of course not. That sounds like a fantastic plan.
I don't like the sun at all.
Why would you even conquer, lands above ground? I thought you didn't like the sun.
Oh, I'm not planning on dwelling there. You see, the people of the Sword Coast, such a wasted workforce, don't you think?
Definitely.
You see, the Dragonborn agrees. He understands power, the true meaning of power. Not being
Yeah.
a tyrant, not being a forceful ruler. From the dark, from the deep, simply pull the strings, make everyone dance. So the
That's how you
song.
be a good ruler.
She
Like,
smiles.
Now you can take, maybe you can take a lot with 1,000 fire giants, but how do you hold them? How do you hold the North Coast?
Simply by throwing an army on top of them and then making that army go away. I don't plan to hold anything. I'll be their rescuer, if you will. An alliance.
Ah.
An alliance.
So you're gonna send the giants in to raid them, and right when they're almost defeated, come in as the savior, so they'll follow you?
You see, the Dragonborn. I see he's a true leader, a true might of thought. We speak the same language, Dragonborn.
Sounds like a fantastic plan.
I lean to Corns and I say, all right.
How is the handmaid reacting to all this? I would like to do like an insight check on her.
Make an insight check.
That's a 25.
So when the draw, her name is Solforn, said that she is no tyrant and she doesn't hurt anyone, she simply rules from the shadow, the maid kind of shudders and she rubs her hand. When she does that, the sleeve kind of goes up a little bit and you can see like cuts and bruises, and like she was beaten hard. And then she kind of stopped doing that, but it was only like a fraction of a second.
Yeah. I'll give Rugby a look.
Yeah,
and
you
then
see
look at the
Rugby.
drow.
You see Rugby getting into his. I mean, he's stiffer than usual. Stiffen up, and then he leans towards Corian and he says, "All right, I'm gonna take her out right now." And then he begins stomping towards the drow woman.
Quarian tells you to hang on. This is not how good guests behave, and we don't get more than one shot here.
So where you kind of mumble? Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sure we can hide a body in here.
You say out loud just to the room.
I don't say that out loud, but I don't want Rugby to make a mess. So I'll step in front of Rugby and say, that sounds like an excellent plan to the drow. There might, however, just be a slight problem. And then I'll punch her.
Roll initiative.
I hope I can get at least one hit in.
When you have a hammer, everything's a nail.
Let's see.
D&D.
Oh my god.
Ooh, I rolled poorly on my initiative, but I hope I can land the first blow. And then you'll
It's a
allow me
5.
one hit.
Natural 1, Rugby.
18.
All I can roll is 20s and 1s.
Okay, wait. I need. Okay, so Aquarium
9.
9. Rugby
1.
Galen.
He's too shook.
9.
Oh, Forgar.
18.
Amazing. Peleus.
Yeah, 5 for me.
5. What happened?
I never roll well on initiative, and I have
we broke
0
everything.
initiative as well.
Okay,
I think we're done with the good rolls that we had so far.
got it. So I will give Galen like his free attack,
Okay.
and then we'll see.
Yes. Allow me a full round attack or just one hit?
It's like a surprise round.
Okay. Then
Surprise round.
the first attack was a 22
Okay, a 22.
to
Wait,
hit.
sorry. Blah,
And do we
blah.
have advantage on these since it's a surprise attack?
Yes, she hasn't acted yet, so you do.
Good. Then it's yeah. The first was 22, then 23, and then I'll do flurry of blows for 2 more attacks.
Go for it.
26 and 18.
So everything, including the 18.
Okay, so that's 8 points, 14. Ooh, nice. 25. Ooh, 36 points of damage.
Amazing.
And
And
I'm doing a stunning blow
Okay.
for another key point. So she needs to make a con save.
Please stun her. Please.
I'm trying. DC is 14 now.
14, so she failed.
Oh, good. Then I don't need to try to knock her prone or anything. Why not? I try to knock her prone also. since I can do that for free on one of my flurry blows attacks, so you need to make a dex save, and since he's stunned with disadvantage, but
No.
So you have double advantage on attacks on her now.
Double advantage.
Okay. And she's stunned until the end of my next turn.
So, each time you hit her, you hear the maid scream. So it's like, and you can see that the draw body is taking the punches, but the maid is the one being slapped around.
what are you guys doing? She's also a guest with us. What are you? Why did you hit her?
Evil.
Go.
I really need
Wheels.
to hit the handmaid.
They want to destroy the gold fields and everything. I don't know.
Your
My
last
wife lives there.
Your last hit, like the stunning one, sends the maid sprawling on the floor with her eyes, all white, and she starts to shake on the floor. And you look at your fist. As you look at the draw woman, she kind of looks at you, and then she melts. And when she melts, you can see that the clothes, the black skin, the bald, everything melts, and all that is left is something yellowish. It has only a single eye burning with red hatred, and these aren't tentacles, these are claws, but they are yellowish and they look like the limbs of the alien, basically, like in its face hugger form.
Yep, fun. Good.
Yes.
What else could go wrong now?
Yes. So this is basically what you see. But that was an amazing first turn. Now.
Yes. I killed the woman who was supposed to save.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Yes. Now,
Killing the innocent is my thing.
Forgar, in the first round of combat, you are first.
I am flabbergasted. I did not see this coming at all. All of a sudden, you beat the shit out of this one chick, and then the other chick turned into goo on the floor, and I'm just gonna hold my axe like I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Attack!
You didn't see it coming? That we attacked at the wrong time? You really didn't see that coming?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold my action and see what happens.
Okay. Sure. So, she.
Yeah, right? Now what do you do?
Yeah. So she coalesces. This is the right word. Like she unmelts. Coalesces. She unmelts into a draw woman again, and she says, "Well, I am disappointed. Can we please?"
The handmaid says that?
No. The.
Oh, okay.
I look at my fist like, is this thing working? Come on, what's wrong with it?
And she says, We are about to eat a fancy dinner prepared to us by our hosts. I would really like to put this little incident behind us and
Sure.
have a simple, nice, pleasant dinner by the fire. What do you say?
Has she really not broken a sweat, or can I see if she's actually calm?
Make an insight check.
I got 0 on that. 4.
4. Amazing. So you're not sure exactly what you saw, but you know that this isn't a regular draw or dark elf. When she transformed, there was this wave of devilish or abyssal power that kind of exploded in the room, but that she kind of got her shit together. You believe. Well, you don't know what to believe with a 4.
Right.
So.
We're still in turn order, right?
So basically, it's her turn. So she's kind of waiting to see if you continue to attack her. So the next one in line is.
As a free action, I would say, you talked about attacking my homeland. I'm from there, and I look very confused.
So she sits down, and as she does so, she kind of flips her dress so she can put one leg over the other as she jumps on one of the couches, and then she says, "So you're not in league with the fire giants."
So you're what?
So you are not in league with the fire giants.
No, we are not.
That, she says, complicate things. So, what are you doing here? And please don't tell me. And please don't tell me you just followed along with that sparkly elf of a merchant.
So we did just follow along with that sparkly elf, but he was supposed to take us elsewhere, and now we're here and got a nice tour around this gigantic fire castle, and ta-da!
Can I run to the handmaid's
Yeah.
on the floor and see if she's all right?
So she basically took whatever Galen had to give her.
I would actually like to trip Rookwe so he doesn't go to the handmaiden.
You're gonna try to do what?
Trip you.
Alright, well,
As you're
what do
running
I
forward,
roll?
like,
Like
I'll
eat
just
shit.
accidentally take a step back and try and trip Rookwe.
So I just do the last hit and she dies completely then.
Oh no! You fall on her and smush her?
Well, you need to fall before you get to the handmaiden.
Alright, well I try to go to her without falling.
I don't know how you want to do that. I can do like a.
Make a dexterity.
I get to poke
Make a dexterity
checks.
saving. Roll dexterity. You both like against each other, and.
Oh great, 630 against the monk. That's gonna be good. Saving throw for that.
Oh god damn it!
Oh wow, thanks. See, there's still some good in you, Galen.
Yes,
And
well,
deep
we
inside.
both rolled horribly. I just rolled more horribly, so that's a
Oh
a natural
my
one.
God.
I
So
got an
that's
8.
a 6.
I got an 8 with a 0, so just a
Yeah.
regular 8.
So you kind of his feet, you get caught by his feet, but you realize it. So
I try to trip him, and then I just trip myself because he's so much bigger and heavily armored. I'm like, whoops! Oh damn it! And I just tumble down. Oh,
Step
As
on your
he's
ankle.
walking, he just takes your foot out, and you like.
Well, I want to see if she's right. I'll cast Spare the Dying on her, and
so you manage to heal her, and the draw says, "Oh, just leave her be. She will be healed in time. That's the nature of our bond."
oh, so what kind of bond is it?
Oh,
And I
she
look at
serves
Aquarium.
me. she serves me and take all the pain that I am thrown at. This is by choice, you see.
Mm-hmm. Can I try to assess what kind of spell curse has been put on this person?
Sure. Make a religion check. You see,
I'll help you.
You see, I met her years ago. She was gathering flowers and components, she said, for a meal to her beloved one, someone who saved her. And while seeing such youth and beauty and love, obviously I was disgusted. I decided that I will kill her loved one and make her my maid. She begged me to spare the life of her loved one. I agreed for a price, and this is the price. She gladly pays it.
Oh. Well, you're disgusting, man. You're a disgusting piece of shit. I rolled a 16 on my religion.
You believe that your former girlfriend has made a bond with the devil. Much like your previous bond. If you remember the contract that you have signed with that demon, Dalver Nair. So you believe now that what you are facing is something similar. Not exactly that power, but something very, very similar.
So, technically, by killing the handmaiden and then restoring her to life, that bond would be over.
Maybe. It worked for you. It worked for you.
Okay.
We don't. Nobody can raise dead here, unless maybe on their rest.
Not yet.
Yeah, he can raise her.
Yeah, he can raise that. That's technically correct.
You didn't tell Rukvi like the actual truth, right? Yeah, he can raise
Yeah,
that.
everybody looks at Galen and is like,
Like, what are you looking at? I don't
looking
get
at looking for Anders. Like, oh man, I wish he was here. He can resurrect people.
It could at least preserve them.
preserve them.
Well,
Wow, I never thought I'd wish for a necromancer.
if she's not conscious, is she?
No, not yet. But if you'll heal her, she'll regain consciousness.
Yeah, I put the rest of my lay on hands, which is only 6 points right now. But...
Okay. So she kind of, her eyelids flutter and then she opens them. And she gasps when she sees you above her.
In
Oh.
Sylvan, which she probably speaks because she's from the Moonshades.
Yes.
She's like a very fey elf.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, I'll come back for you and break this bond.
She doesn't answer, realizing that if she does, the demon will probably know what's going on. So she simply nods. And as she does that, Solfern, the dark elf, she says, well, can we at least get through dinner without any further issues? Then we
I
can
think so.
then we can resolve whatever we have to resolve.
Yes. Sure. Still not quite sure what happened.
I just stare daggers at the drow lady, like at the devil.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't say anything, she leaves.
After she leaves, I like, Roku, what were you doing? Now she probably knows all about whatever you have going on with that handmaiden. And she can use that against you.
I
Well,
tell
she's gonna need it.
I tell Galen, what were you doing? Now she knows that we're not the bad guys.
Yeah, wait, why did we attack her?
Roku was about to attack, and I thought I could disable her before Ruby started making a lot of noise?
Should we maybe like leave?
Right? How?
Yeah, right.
And we should try and get the box. And if we get the box, we stop her evil plan anyway.
We
Yeah.
could just try to escape this place and break as much as we can on the way out or
Do any of
something.
you guys know how
Do you
to
even have
just,
any
like-
idea where we are?
Destroy this room
Yeah.
like we're a bunch of rock stars or something in a hotel.
Yeah, totally. Start smashing chairs and. Unless somebody else knows how to travel between planes, because I'm pretty sure we are not in Kansas anymore. We have to use Mr. Sparkly Elf to get out of here.
That's what I think too. Unless you have some idea that we are still somewhere in Faerun.
Yeah, but I mean he got paid, so he would maybe agree to leave.
Yeah, but
After dinner.
we didn't pay him, and he don't seem to care all that much about us.
Yeah, but there's like a like we attacked one of.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's cool with
She's cool with it. Okay.
Clearly.
I mean,
I do. 2 questions. One, we have the sending stone that my wife took like 20 sessions ago, along with her.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm barricading the door right now.
Okay.
All right, we can barricade it with books. It's about our size. And at some point I asked her to pass it over to the Black Staff or send a message to the Black Staff. Do I have any idea where we are right now?
Nope.
Okay, but
is there a check that I can do to try and use some of my knowledge to find out where we are?
Let me just check my phone and the GPS.
Yeah, totally.
So-
The
Out of-
follow
out of-
me.
Out of service. Damn
If
it.
you-
Always.
If you could get a glimpse of the outside, you might be able to kind of, look at the stars, at the surrounding, and maybe make an informed
I'm
decision.
going to explore the castle.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna fight my way through your barricade that you're making at that door. And I'm going to try and explore. Does anybody else want to see where we are?
Maybe we should talk to the Sparkly Elf. What is his name?
I think I have it in my notes.
Vandar?
Vandal?
Vandar.
We should talk to Vandal. See where
Yeah,
he's at.
We didn't see him, right? We didn't see him going back.
He
in
went
here.
away.
He went to get his payment.
Went to get his
Yeah.
payment, and
Who
That
knows
was
if
the
he's
last
even
you
still
saw of
alive.
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Maybe we should all go out, like all friendly like, and try not to attack anybody else. I look around at all the others and like even
Yeah.
if we started a fight, like let's not attack.
We're all
anyone.
glaring at you.
Yes, like all of us, like we all attacked this person before, and not try to get into any restricted areas. And if anybody asks, we're still looking very much forward to the feast. And I do
we
still
get
want to
into
try
trouble-
to steal the box at the feast, but
If we get into trouble here, I'm gonna like deny any connection to you guys. I'm just I'm with the elf guy. I'm like traveling with him.
Peleus, you always come
just
up with the
hitched
best
a
plans.
ride.
Maybe you can find a tree ant here to help you,
Back to the
time
start
on
of this,
the top
let a
of our
bunch of
heads.
lava pour in and drown us all.
One that wasn't used for burning for the furnace.
So you all open the door and exit. Now, you are currently here. So as you emerge, you can see a lot of goblins toiling on those huge tables that you can see and the benches. They are preparing a massive meal, but they all ignore you as you go by. You notice that they look nervously to this corridor, which One of the goblins told you it's the Dutchel chambers that are strictly out of, like, you're forbidden to go there. So where do you head? Do you head to this corridor where you saw the dwarf leaving? Do you head to the elevator? Or
I head towards one of the goblins, or the group of goblins. Like, hi, any of you speak common? And like give a little friendly wave.
so one of them says, probably better than you, human, in a heavy British accent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Me not speak good common. That hope me understand you. Uh, we were just wondering. I assume we still have a bit of time before the feast, so we were just wondering if where the sparkly elf is, Vandar we came with.
I love that that's what he's being known as, is the sparkly elf.
So he's saying, he looks at you when you say sparkly elf. He thinks that something in the translation probably is lost, but he then says, I do believe I've seen an elf leaving with a cart just a while ago.
Oh,
With the cart. Leaving the.
No, you might still be able to catch him if you go through the front doors. Maybe he's
and
loading at the
the
court.
front doors open.
So when you kind of pop your head there, you can see that they are not closed.
Okay. Is there another way out besides the front door? It seems a bit big for us to open.
The goblin smiles. Well, you know, food comes in, the trash goes out. I can sneak you out if you want.
Oh,
Someone
God.
else who wants
Okay.
us to go down the trash cube.
Oh, is there gonna crazy dwarf lady gonna tell us to go down the trash chute? Again?
No. Now it's the crazy goblin dude.
Yeah.
No, all I mean is that we have a smaller door that will open for us if we want to throw out the trash.
Sure, that would be actually very.
I looked out at myself. Do I look like trash?
Well, you smell like one, and he mutters, and then he kind of, follow me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I glance back to make sure that we're not being followed by other goblins, by any of the, I don't know, hellhounds or something like that.
Okay.
And is that like whispering to the rest? Is that what are we? Should we leave now, or should we try and get the box then leave, or?
We have what, like 30 minutes?
Well, if Vandar is preparing the wagon to leave, then it might already be too late.
I definitely want to get off this plane.
But
So at the very least, I'd like to see him there.
I wanna kill the drow or leave.
Yes, I don't think we can kill the drow. I did my best. Sorry. Maybe another day, but leaving that metal destroyer thing in the hands of a fire giant and want to burn everything sounds bad. Like
What, you're concerned about that?
eternal winter sounds bad. Eternal fire thing sounds bad.
Well, Eternal Winter's coming sooner, I think.
Really? Like they're ready to power up this thing now that they have these.
But you still need all the metals
Lot of
in order to create that giant, in order to create that colossus. I'm not sure that they have it. They're gonna have it so soon.
Didn't the Colossus look almost ready?
His feet were not there.
You know what we should do?
Oh,
We
his
should
feet were not
destroy,
down
like,
there because we couldn't see them.
You know what we should do?
We should
Because I'm fucking
destroy
angry.
the gem.
Is this is Rugby talking to? You never heard him curse before. He says, we should just free all the dwarfs, and then cut chaos, and then we just try to take the heart, or we try to leave, or we burn here. I don't care.
I don't think we have an exit plan though. How do you want to leave? Or our exit plan just left?
when we arrived before we went in, did it seem like we were on a different plane or somewhere unknown on Faerun?
So you were in,
Yeah, we're walking around, right?
yeah, you're still walking. First, so I'll answer Galen's question and then I want to say something to Quarian. So when you first arrived, it was like blue sky, quite cold because you think you were somewhere up in a mountain, so it was so high it is already cold, but the lava streams made it hot, like every time the wind kind of blew in the right direction. So you believe you're still in Faerun, but somewhere very different than, you know, the Bryn Shander or something like that. So that's one. Quarian, when you looked back to see if the hounds are following you, you do notice something, but it's not hounds. You see something that looks like a sparkly, tiny dragon fluttering and pointing, like as you look at it, it points at Forgar.
Okay, I look at Forgar. Do I see anything special?
No. When you look back, this creature does something like this with his claw.
All right. I nudge Forgar and tell him to look at the tiny little dragon.
So
That's the same.
yeah, the same one.
Yeah.
But
So-
can I have a bit of what you're smoking so I can see it also?
I'll see it and I'll walk over to it.
Who is that?
I don't know. He met me in Waterdeep. I think I was in Waterdeep. I don't know. I met him before, and he gave me this potion claiming that all dragons should fly.
So you're kind of mixing it a little bit. So you've met this creature in Bryn Shander, and he said that there was a surprise for you if you simply went south a little bit, but you didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Okay.
The flying
Not the
potion-
flying
The
potion.
flying potion was from a creepy dude in Waterdeep.
Yes.
Or was it Waterdeep? Yeah, Waterdeep, I think.
I think it was Waterdeep.
Yeah.
Like, this is a gift. Totally no string attached. Here's a couple of
Yeah.
potions.
Hey, I still haven't drank that potion.
I believe the demon that we started doing business with has actually warned us of this organization.
The one that gave me the potion?
Or
Yeah.
the sparkly fairy dragons that
Yeah.
all the fumes must be getting to us.
So this is the guy I was supposed to get the thing from. And I'm like, hey, I missed you last time I saw you. I didn't manage to get south. What are you doing here?
Trying to save you out of this monumental pool of shit that you have brought us all into. Why did you
How
take
did I
my
bring you
offer?
into this?
Simply go south, board a ship with a captain who was cooking a great meal for you, and you would get your own flying ship. You could fly everywhere in Faerun, but no, you had to go with this idiotic elf.
Well, it's not just my fault. There was a coffin, and then a demon, and chains, and then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, I'll totally take you where we want to go, but quick pit stop, and now here we are, and there's giants, and robots, and drow, and orcs, and... It's not my fault. I would have loved to have gone south.
I love these moments when an evil organization didn't put its card on the right pawn.
Do you know what will happen if anyone will see us talking together in this citadel? We will be dead. The Dragonborn is talking to a dragon in your citadel. And you kind of turn and see that son of Duke Zalto. He's kind of pointing at you.
So how about that secret door, huh, Goblin?
The goblin basically says, "You didn't see me."
Goblin? What goblin? goblin. There are no goblins here. Never were a goblin here.
Yes. And with the proclamation of the Duke's son, we'll end this session.
Alright, so I guess we have to leave now.
Okay. Kill
Yeah.
all the giants. We can do it.
Kill all the giants.
And then kill the drow that's immortal. And not a drow, but a demon.
I count on you.
Yes,
I really believe in you.
It's probably just, an aspect of love or something. We can handle that.
Sure.
Totally.
It
I'm
went
guessing
it went swimmingly last time we handled a demon.
we were handled. We didn't handle anything. I'm guessing
was
remove curse
that was
wouldn't have
only
fixed
because
anything.
I wasn't there for the session, otherwise we would totally have won.
Yeah, totally.
You all signed your soul away. Just like me.
Exactly. So, as always, think about what you've done.
Oh.
This campaign is going totally according to plan.
Yes.
It is going south, constantly south.
Constantly so.
We didn't go south last time. I wanted to go south.
This is totally a railroaded campaign. Like, this is the railroad, this is the train, this is us heading right into it. Isn't that what people talk about with railroading campaigns?
Exactly that.
Like
Exactly.
smashing into trains. I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, totally.
Amazing. Okay, so have a great week, seriously, and continue play World of Warcraft Classic, where
Will do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate my life tomorrow, I guess.
ooh, okay,
I'm totally not gonna play it. I'm going to go back to playing Baldur's Gate again. I've actually been
Oh.
playing it for a while.
oh,
I actually first one. I actually started playing it like 2 days or so before they announced Baldur's Gate 3. I feel like playing Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 again.
amazing! It's
And
a
then,
great game.
And then they announced Baldur's Gate 3. Like, hey,
Wow.
perfect.
But is it out yet? Like Baldur's Gate 3?
No, not at all. I don't even think it has a release date. It's
Oh.
only like
Who's working on it? Is it BioWare?
No.
No, it's the guys that made the Divinity games.
Ooh.
Larian, something like that.
Okay, should
Right.
be interesting. Should be good.
I really like
Yeah,
those.
I'm pretty sure it will be good. The Divinity games, they were really good.
Amazing.
Forward to it.
Okay, yeah, something to look forward to. Great. So I'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Alright.
All right.
Running.
Looking forward to see how we mess it up even more next time.
You have 2 weeks to
Will
plan.
die in there.
It's the best
We're
way to
all
solve a
fine.
solution.
That means
There is
absolutely
a bigger
nothing.
problem to replace that with the original problem.
Yeah, if you give us time to plan, our plan will fail worse than if we impulsively decided to do something.
Yeah, the D&D plans.
I'm counting on it. So
You know what
Okay.
I'm really waiting for in this game is like a class that has like a disguise spell or something. It would be so good.
in Eberron,
Imagine we just killed the drow and like took her.
Dressed up as her?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
That's
That'd be-
amazing.
in Eberron you have the changeling. So I think that's what you're looking. You're
Oh,
basically
really?
asking me to. Next campaign is set in Eberron, right? So.
Oh,
Yeah,
what?
that
that would be so
first
good.
First level spell, disguise self, which warlock can get for free.
Yeah.
Unlimited uses of.
Yep.
Unlimited.
And I do know one here in the party who has that spell, and the rest.
Oh,
Oh, so I feel a plan is building it, right? It's
Yes.
almost
and
there.
the rest, and the rest, turn into the drow and go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, welcome back, Ryan. Go.
no, like imagine
push
if
him
we
over
had
the edge.
control over like 1,000 fire giants or whatever. That would be
Yeah,
great.
it will be interesting to brief Anderest. We'll see what happens.
Oh god. He's gonna be so mad at us.
Usually how it goes is that I dig the hole and he digs us out of the hole.
Yeah.
So when he's not here, I'm just digging.
You weren't here to stop me.
Yeah, because Andres never attacks and kills people like out of nowhere.
Right.
No, doesn't happen. Never.
No, never.
Never.
Not once.
He makes his hound do it.
Just want you guys to know that before, when I wanted to charm this huge giant, I got a 32 on my throw. A 32.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's crazy.
He would have realized he was charmed, and then he would have.
I'm not sure it worked that way. It's a diplomacy. I'm not even sure that this is how it works. It's not like the spell charm. I didn't.
Well, we'll have to see next session. So come prepared with all the rules and the plans and everything, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, if you can charm that small giant, that'd be great.
Bye, guys.
Nice.
Bye.
This guy.
Bye.
See you. Bye bye.